So this video I want to show you guys to highlight the disenchantment people have with Trump and how his coalition is truly cracking. As much denial as people that support him put themselves into to believe this is not happening. I want to show you why and how this is happening. Okay? Because in the real world, people expect results out of their government. They don't want to watch a charade 24 hours a day. And what we're witnessing with Trump is a charade. I call it a crime scene of charades because he's exploiting exactly what this country is and what it represents, and not in a good light. And he's doing it because that's who he is. Okay? And that's what America decided to tolerate. Okay? So, the racism, the bigotry, the corruption, the chauvinistic behavior, the strong man mentality of toxic masculinity, everything that's rot about this country, okay, that's what he represents. It's sitting in our house, the people's house, aka Donald J. Trump. Okay, this toxic behavior has festered our society for so long. It's just now being elevated at a whole new level with Donald Trump. Whole new level. Along with his disgusting members of the cabinet. Along with the gross people like Pete Hegseth, Howard Lutnick, Marco Rubio, Kash Patel, J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard. Like, you name it. It's just toxic list of toxic individuals who are pushing this toxic mentality, making our country worse. Oh yeah, Pam Bondi and Kristi Noem. I don't know how I forgot them and Steve Miller, who are the worst of the worst. But which I'm gonna forever peg Pam Bondi, the Dow. She brought it up on so many occasions. The Dow's never done so good under Trump. So funny. They're making songs and parodies out of that one. It's pretty funny, but I already covered my issue with that. Here's the thing. I'm going to show you guys a video of why his popularity is flailing so bad. And I know people that support him are going to deflect and deny its reality and tell you fake news, but I want to tell you it's not fake news, it's real world. This is really happening. So I got to show you guys this clip real quick here.
Trump voter who's realizing that Trump's presidency has been just a bunch of nothingness. Nothing going on but the rent. So take a look and listen to this.
The court has ruled that Trump's tariffs are unconstitutional. Golden Age update, guys. We've got nothing. We might have to pay back $150 billion to other countries and nations and businesses. Meanwhile, the American people have been screwed this entire time as prices have went up on the tariffs, and now it's been ruled unconstitutional, but we may be having to pay it back. This administration's a joke. It's over. This administration is an absolute travesty. We've got nothing. No mass deportations. We've got no actual release of the Epstein files. So many more to go. We have no tariffs. They're unconstitutional now. So everything you voted for is a complete lie. Trump is a complete lie. Welcome to the golden age.
Yeah, so that was before Trump's State of the Union address, which, can I just tell you guys something? There was a comment in my comment section on some video I did, and it just cracked me up because these people don't even hear themselves. Somebody said, even liberal CNN said that everybody who, out of everybody who watched Donald Trump's State of the Union address,
terrible.
A huge percentage, like 70%, approved of it, and their opinion of Trump has gone up, and they loved it. Who do you think is watching it, dumbass? Do you think liberals are watching it? Do you think the left-leaning independents are watching it? No, the only people watching it are Trump humpers. The only people watching it are moron MAGAs. So, yeah, it should be high. Actually, the fact that it's not 100% tells you that it sucked. Because those are his most ardent supporters who are watching it. They're the only ones who can stand the sight of him and the sound of his voice. And even they didn't 100% agree and like it. So it's not exactly the cell phone you think it is. Anyway, I just wonder if this guy watched it and heard all of Trump's fake accomplishments. Speaking of which, I have some fun social media posts to share with you guys from Trump voters who either did watch and were disgusted by his lies, or they just reacted to other MAGA accounts who were praising Trump. So this first person replied to a post complaining about how the Democrats didn't stand up at various points throughout Trump's speech. And this person didn't quite agree. They said, this was two posts, they said, "Oh no, they stayed seated? Now imagine fucking kids and just letting everyone go. That's what y'all did, you fucking sadistic bitches." And then they added to it and said, "And before anyone says anything, yes, I voted for Trump. Yes, I'm a registered Republican. And no, I will never vote in a U.S. election again, you dumb motherfuckers. You're pedophiles, and I hate you from the bottom of my heart." I quite agree. Anyway, and then there was a man named Mel who tagged Trump in his post, and he told him this: "Thank you, real Donald Trump, for that State of the Union speech. You helped me make the decision to not vote in the Republican primary this year or support a single Republican associated in the slightest with you for the next 3 years. I've never voted in a Democratic primary." And then a woman named Cheryl, she responded to a post about the men's hockey team winning and how Trump was celebrating their win, during his boring speech. And Cheryl said this: "What about the women's win? As a lifelong Democrat, I did an about-face and voted for Trump, and I am so sorry I did. Most unpresidential president ever. I also am so disgusted how he used and abused Elon Musk only to squander all the savings he diligently found for the people." I mean, okay, I'm glad that Cheryl is unhappy with Trump, but really, Elon, she thinks Trump used and abused Elon. The guy is making billions of dollars from his government contracts. That's one thing. So, wah, big fucking wah. And then, what savings? Cheryl still thinks that Musk saved the government money. Bless her heart. Anyway, I also found a post from someone who has replied to has-been actor James Woods. So I'm sure you guys all know Woods is a massive Trump bumper. So of course, he's praising Trump's speech, and this woman told him this: "Sorry, Mr. Woods, the SOTU, the State of the Union address, was more of a depressing, oh, and look what I did commentary than a look forward to a positive future. I have been following Trump since 2015, voted for him 3 times, defended him always, have been outcasted by family because of him. He brought 0 to the table." So, like I've been saying, the vibes have completely shifted away from Trump. Even among people who were like this, who were willing to give up family over this apricot antichrist. And speaking of the vibe shift, probably more than any other group, we're seeing this with Gen Z voters. So take a listen. This is what one Gen Z voter had to say in a recent focus group. This was specifically a focus group of Gen Z people. So take a listen.
My trust in the administration has completely nosedived because of how he's mishandled things like immigration or the war.
So that group's going to be a big factor in the midterms. Not because they're likely to come out and vote for Democrats. It's because they're low propensity voters in general. That age group hardly ever votes in off-year special elections, so Republicans really need to keep them engaged and motivated for the midterms. And as we all know, Trump has done the opposite. He is actively suppressing their votes, and literally physically, not just like by not doing things that they would like, but he's pissing them off with that stuff. He's not following through on his promises, but then on top of that, he and the Republicans are trying to implement this SAVE Act that's going to make it harder for young people to vote, because this age group, they're the least likely to have the time and or the money to go get a passport or to get a real ID. And then some of them are undoubtedly away at college, so the address on their driver's license doesn't match the address where they're currently living and where they're registered to vote. So, their driver's license most likely has their home address on it. So, good luck, Republicans. Next up, I have more social media posts to share. So one woman wrote this. Let's see which one this is. She said, "Man, I wish I never voted for Trump. I don't even identify as a Republican anymore. This shit is so stupid. They love dividing us, and look where we are now." And then a man named Mason, he posted this. "I can't believe I voted for that pedo fucking monster. I remember in the beginning thinking all the crazy liberals were nuts for trashing Trump, but those crazy fucking liberals were right. He is a fucking monster, and I wish I would have never voted for that scumbag rich prick." So, yeah, maybe we're not as crazy as you thought. Maybe we're not lunatics after all, huh, guy? And then, last but not least for this video, there's a woman named Maurice, I think is how you pronounce her name. So she wrote this on Twitter. Or actually, I guess this is not the last one. So she said, "Electric up, groceries up, natural gas up, taxes for middle class up, insurances up, used cars up, government spending at an all-time high, deficit up, he's spending us into a recession and robbing us blind. Hate Democrats, but I'm voting for them during the midterms." So there was another Trump voter who took issue with her on these comments, and here's what she told him. She said, "I was sex trafficked out at 16, raped and beaten. This fucker is ruining our economy so he can make money. He's a pedo and a thief. I'm sorry I ever voted for him." So I hope she's okay. I hope this woman is okay. I almost hope that, she was just saying it and making it up, because I don't wish that on anyone. But anyway, if it is true, I really hope that she's gotten the help that she deserves, and she is all right. Anyway, guys, that is it for this segment. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I will have more of these for you next week. Please like this video.
So like I was saying, people are truly disillusioned. So again, there'll be a lot of naysayers out there saying this does not reflect reality, the real world. And again, everybody has their point, but I'm pretty certain it reflects the real world, because if you're looking at what we're all witnessing right now as a country, it's not fake news. It's actually happening. So again, whether you want to blame this current administration or occupant, or blame the existing system already, that's fine. Regardless, that's the reality. Again, we got to stop voting out of blind ignorance. We got to start voting for people that actually want to make the system better for everybody. Okay. And like I said, this second presidency of Donald Trump has a silver lining, despite all the negative things we're witnessing. And I know you've probably heard this in his first term too, and everybody went, "Yeah, right, but look what happened." That's true, and you have a point to believe that. But the first time around, it was a very different reality than the second time around. because people still have the nostalgia of what they thought Trump did for the economy before COVID. Okay? Because Trump was truly tamed his first term. All right. So this time he's governing completely untamed. So we're witnessing a completely different reality now. Nobody's benefiting. The economy's hurting. Everybody's hurting at the end of the day. But the silver lining is the rise of real populism in this country. We're starting to see it. Now it's migrating to the left. It's been a while in the waitings. But Trump, and this is what I remind people that supported Trump, remember this: if he continues on the destructive governing path he's on right now, he will move people to the left. You're starting to see it. And he will create the possibility, just through his actions, of America voting for an actual democratic socialist. That is on the horizon. That is coming. Because people are so angry about getting price gouged by corporate America. People are so angry about all their money going to wars they don't support. People are so angry about the rampant corruption in our system. And now they're seeing the Republican Party and Donald Trump are the ownership of everything they hate about this government. This is the reality. They're part of the Epstein class, the E class. They're part of the corporate elite that nobody likes. They're everything that they pretended to be against to get votes. They painted the liberals as the elites that nobody liked, the uncool people. The Ivy League, Harvard educated, who lived in their beautiful coastal communities and had sat around and told people in rural America what was best for them. This is the narrative they pushed for so long, and it works so well for the GOP, especially with low propensity voters. But I want to remind people, that was a cosplay. That was an act. And they hoodwinked you all pretty effectively. But guess what? That hoodwinking mask is coming off very quickly. Because at the end of the day, reality was going to come back to bite us all. And even people that voted for these Republicans and Donald Trump will swing back. That pendulum will swing again. And next time they're going to be mad under Republican leadership. So where do you think those votes are going to go next time? It's going back to the left. It's going to the Democrats now, because there's no other party to vote for. And what they're going to do is, not only are they going to vote in general elections, they're going to come in and vote in the Democratic primaries. They're going to vote for the most populist candidate. You're going to see that happen. You're starting to see that happen. That's why I said a lot of it's independent voters migrating into primaries and voting. It's not just party voters. So if you think it's just the left voting for progressive candidates because that's really how they feel, no. A lot of his independent voters feeling the same way. And they feel, they are so now mad at the GOP right now, they're going into Democratic primaries and voting for more populist candidates. And they are voting for Democrats now instead because they feel betrayed by the GOP. That's what you're witnessing. Okay? And there are some Trump voters out there that will vote for a hardcore progressive. That is a real thing. They may not like the Democratic Party, but they'll vote for a populist type of Democrat. The populism is now going back to the left because the right let it go. The right exposed who they are. They're a bunch of elitists. They're thumb-noticed elitist grifters who are selling people BS to get their support and make their millions of dollars to leave you high and dry. And now people are waking up and realizing that as they destroy the government that's supposed to serve all the people. All right. This guy is sitting in the Oval Office along with that despicable Congress that don't do their job. They're sitting in the people's house, and I want to remind you guys of that. These people are not doing their job. They're covering for a pedo ring. They're covering for corporate America. They're giving all your money and resources to wars you don't support. They're defunding your health care. They're doing everything that our country's supposed to value. They're taking away everything that's valuable about our country. Okay. And I don't want to sound uber partisan here because I feel like I'm just going to divide people, but I'm just telling you the truth. The Republican Party is the one doing it. Donald Trump is the one doing it. There are a few Democrats in there with him, and I can count them on my finger and point them out, including the leadership of my own party, who I think needs to go. We need new leadership in both parties, as a matter of fact. But, yeah, that's just the reality. And this guy's a charlatan and a fraud. So, there's nothing more to say to this. I mean, again, the silver lining, though, is people are waking up and they're realizing what real populism is. And they're seeking out real populism. And they're voting for candidates that actually represent their values. And some people are even better yet running for office themselves. And I give you kudos to that. At least you have the courage to do that. I never even garnered up the courage to do that. I didn't see anywhere fit where I'd run in this state. But, I'll be honest with you. For the people that do it, good for you. Whether you win or not, the fact you tried and put your name out there, I give you credit for doing so. And I represent a wing of the Democratic Party where I welcome everybody into my tent. Okay. Because I went to a Democratic Club event the other day, and I didn't necessarily agree with their it was for Susie Lee Town Hall, because I live in Nevada's Congressional District 3. So we can discuss our concerns with her as constituents. And obviously I was not all that impressed with what she said. I mean, I was kind of like, okay, typical Democratic Party talking points, whatever. But I did bring up stuff in the meeting that I know they didn't want to hear that we had to say. And I talked about how I don't appreciate, they're a part of the Democratic Club. They want us to pay a membership to be a part of, but I was not impressed with their club. Honest truth. So I would not sign up for a club that I have no say or influence in. All right. And I asked them what was the difference between them and the National Democratic Party. They had no answer. The only difference is they claim they don't side with any candidate or endorse any candidate over another candidate. They don't basically cause any collusion in the primaries. And I said that was my big issue with the National Democratic Party because they've done that for so long. And I said now it's past time that we actually see democracy happen and we actually see competitive primaries again on the Democratic side. Because that's what we need for healthy democracy. And I mentioned how they unilaterally disarmed for so long when they believed they were above the fray. And they did the whole independent commission districting when Republicans were gerrymandering every seat in America. Okay. The Democrats unilaterally disarmed for over a decade. And I did best believe I did bring this up in the town hall. And I guarantee you, Congresswoman Susie Lee was not very satisfied with what I said. She was very irritated. I can see it in her face. Because I said, I don't appreciate the DCCC coming in. The DCNSC, Senate Committee, Congressional Committee, and the DNC tipping the scales for certain candidates. All right. And of course, she pivoted back to the swing state district talking points. Well, I was one of the candidates that could win over independent voters. And the same old spiel I hear all the time. At heart, independents are really Democrats, not Republicans. And I believe that. But I don't think the DCCC has all the answers to that. I don't think it's because of them. I think it's despite them. And the way to win is populism. It's not unilaterally disarming or tribalism. It's not unilaterally disarming or collaborating with bad forces in society. It's about populism. That's how you win voters over. It's not about this corporate talking point that all these politicians like to use. But I should have brought up in the town hall, to be honest with you, well then why is the Democratic Party lost for so long? So many times to Trump. If you feel like you have the answers to that, if you feel like your messaging in electoral politics wins over most Democrats because you're a part of the Problem Solvers Caucus, I wanted to ask her, God's honest truth, do you think you really have the answers to that question? Because I can tell you, honestly, it's contrary to what she's claiming. At heart, a lot of us are independent. But at the end of the day, everybody wants a fighter. They don't want somebody who's going to make excuses for not delivering and not fighting for you. Okay. And I wasn't highly impressed with this Democratic Club, so I didn't sign up for it. I didn't pay the $20 membership. I got other things to spend $20 on. So, sorry. Wasn't impressed with them. But that's all I want to say in this statement outside of Trump and the GOP madness we're witnessing in this country. But I can highlight where the Democratic Party definitely needs to change. We need a party of multicultural populism and inclusion. We need a party that actually represents the heart of the civil rights movement, the heart of the New Deal Bill of Rights to people. We need a party that actually moves people to the polls. Okay. And I don't want to hear about this triangulation talking point you guys push constantly. It's bullcrap. It's theology. It's corporate talking points brainwashing your brain into believing if you're Republican light, you will get Republicans to vote for you along with Democrats and independents, when it's quite contrary to the reality. Okay? And that's all I want to mention in this video, a couple aside from the other half of this video. But that's all I'm going to say here. I'll see y'all later. You have a great day. You have a great night. Goodbye.